As I mentioned in the last few videos, I've been dealing with this TFL issue now on both sides actually. So yesterday I couldn't really squat all that much. I hit, what was it, 170, and that was kind of a grind. Didn't do any back off work, did a whole bunch of 4-inch block pulls. I had my feet out, 45-degree kind of cambered, angled, to try and target the glute area, the hamstring area more. Pulled up quite well this morning, but once again, the adductors are feeling tight. So my working diagnosis yesterday was that my adductors are the ones to kind of blame in all of this. So I've kind of stretched my adductors again, although I've kind of like, said that I think that the adductors are, the stretching has kind of initiated all of these problems. So this morning I did stretch a fair bit again. And some of you guys have had some really good suggestions for me in the comments. Foam rolling, and also, the static stretching isn't the greatest, which I agree with. The trouble is with, how do you gain mobility without statically stretching? Like I know people do all sorts of different, dynamic kind of stretches, but for me, I've always kind of statically stretched, and to be honest with you, that's how I got to the squat mobility that I've got right now. So I haven't introduced anything new, historically speaking. I just kind of went back to what I did in the past, and for some reason this time around it's just causing me a lot of grief. So I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to kind of back off on the volume of the squatting and kind of up the volume on the deadlifts, on the 4-inch block pulls. So today again, I put 70 on the bar and I did some 4-inch deadlifts just to warm up, 5 sets of 10, just to kind of warm up the glutes, warm up the external rotators, try to encourage them to activate. But I've got 170 on the bar now, just like yesterday, and also I've done a fair bit of volume in terms of like lightweight. I did the bar, several sets of the bar, 20 reps, then I did 60 kilos for a couple of lots of 10s, which I haven't done in the squatting everyday program. I haven't needed to, so I've just kind of 1, 2, 3 sets, and then basically work up to my 80, 90, 100% max for the day. So I've kind of done that just to kind of get some more blood volume, get some circulation into the troubled areas, the TFL. Things are not going to heal without blood flow, so that's why I did that. So let's see how 170 moves. The sets leading up to the 170, the descent is kind of alright, but when I hit the bottom and when I first push off, I just feel like there's this pinching sensation, top of the hip, the front top of the hip, kind of the TFL region, exactly the TFL region, and it kind of makes me not want to push hard, so I kind of ease out of the bottom. So that's the problem, I guess. So let me have a go at 170. You guys can have a look and see how it goes. That kind of felt alright. I don't know what's going on. That kind of felt alright. I've also kind of experimented today with, foot positioning, narrow, wider. It feels as though if I go wider, the TFL hurts more. So that was kind of alright, although you can see that I was kind of timid with it. I didn't want to, push off. Should I add weight? Yeah, let's add 180. That kind of felt alright. Like I said, that felt light. It's just I didn't want to push hard. Let me put on a bit more weight on the bar. Let's go 180 and see how it pans out. All right, 180 on the bar now. Let's see how this moves. a bit of pain in that sticking range for me again. It's just overall, I've got a lot of anxiety about pushing hard off the bottom. It's just doesn't feel secure, it doesn't feel stable. Whenever you have pain anywhere in the body and you're trying to move explosively, it's kind of like a self-preservation mechanism of the body. You're just kind of afraid to use the full power. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Not going to do any more back off work. I'll just do some bench pressing now, and I get some more hip mobility. One of the things I find really interesting about squatting every day, and I guess moving every day, any movement that you're kind of pushing every day, is that you would think that mobility would improve because you're doing it every day. The body will kind of get accustomed to those positions. That was kind of the story for, I guess, a month of this program. But then I noticed my mobility started to kind of slow down, and that's probably as a result of, I guess you can call, overtraining, overstimulating one area. And so one area that's responsible for allowing you to squat deep in the squat is the adductors. Those muscles have to be long. Those muscles are in fact what gets you out of the hole. So I didn't pick it up early enough. So I guess it got to a point where I was kind of compensating with other muscles, and now the TFL is fired up because I guess the adductors and the TFL both internally rotate the femur. So if the adductors are, I guess, too tight, can't function properly, then the TFL was called into reinforcements, I guess, and that's a small muscle, nowhere near the size of the adductors, and now I've got pain in the adductors as the first symptom of dysfunction in my hips. So I guess from now on, I guess my focus is to kind of restore the function of the adductors. And so I've taken some of your advice about static stretching. I'm not just static stretching now. I'm doing this stretch where I kind of like lay down on the floor, put my legs up against the wall, and I just kind of do separate my legs like that, hold them there for a little bit, and then I kind of pulsate up and just kind of contract at that end range of motion. I think they call that PNF stretching. Don't quote me on that, I forget what it's called now, but it's essentially activation of the muscle in the end range of the mobility of it. So I don't know, I'm doing that. So that gives you kind of a pump. It's not just that you're hanging off your muscles, it actually gives you a pump as well. And then when I do the retest of the squat, I feel I can get a little bit more deeper and more comfortable. The trouble with that is that if you're doing that all the time and you're squatting every day, those muscles are now pre-exhausted, and obviously you've taken a bit of energy out of them. So squatting kind of feels a little bit uncomfortable at the bottom because you've pre-exhausted a key component of the bottom position. So anyway, that's my plight at the moment. I didn't see this coming. I'm just glad that I've kind of worked it out this time. Last time, I mentioned a few times already in this series of videos, is that I had a similar issue. I didn't pick it up. I was stubborn. I kept squatting. It got to a point where it was so bad that I couldn't actually drive in a car more than 20 minutes without the hip flaring up. And I basically had to stop the car on many occasions and walk around and stretch the sort of the quad hip area. This time around, it's kind of come on really slowly, whereas last time I was just pushing too hard and I wasn't giving a crap. So anyway, day 49, I think I said today. Hopefully this clears up over the next couple of days. Fingers crossed. Anyway, thanks guys. Catch you.